I found a stray hair in our bed, and it wasn't mine. I had it tested, thinking I was being paranoid. But when the results came back, I nearly collapsed. I left the paperwork on the kitchen counter with one sentence. Who's he? My name's Jake. I'm 38, and I've been married to Laura for 10 years. We live in the Irvington neighborhood of Portland, Oregon. It's a charming area with tree-lined streets and historic homes. We have a cozy two-bedroom house that we've poured our hearts into making a home. Laura works as a graphic designer at a small firm downtown, and I'm a software developer for a tech company based in the Pearl District. Our routines were predictable, but there was comfort in that predictability. One evening, after a grueling day at work, I came home to find Laura already asleep. I quietly changed and slipped into bed. As I adjusted my pillow, I noticed something that made me pause, a long, blonde hair resting on the pillowcase. Laura has short, dark brown hair, and mine is black. This hair didn't belong to either of us. I sat up, holding the strand between my fingers. My mind raced. Maybe it was from a friend who had visited recently, but I couldn't recall any blonde friends visiting our home in the past few months. Perhaps it clung to my clothes from the office? Unlikely, as I work in a predominantly male environment. I tried to dismiss it, but a nagging feeling settled in my gut. The next morning, over breakfast, I casually mentioned the hair to Laura. She looked up from her coffee, a puzzled expression on her face. That's strange, she said. Maybe it was from the laundromat? You know how clothes can pick up lint and stuff. I nodded slowly, but her explanation didn't sit well with me. We hadn't used a laundromat in years, ever since we got our own washer and dryer. I decided not to press the issue further, not wanting to seem paranoid. Days turned into weeks, and that single strand of hair became an obsession. I started noticing subtle changes in Laura's behavior. She was more protective of her phone, often angling the screen away from me when messages came in. Our conversations became surface level, lacking the depth they once had. She started working late more frequently, citing tight deadlines and demanding clients. One evening, while Laura was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at the screen and saw a message preview. Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing. My heart sank. I knew I shouldn't invade her privacy, but the message was there, glaring at me. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to gather more information. Remembering the hair, I took it to a local lab for DNA testing. It felt extreme, but I needed clarity. The technician informed me that without a sample to compare it to, identifying the owner would be challenging. Nevertheless, they could determine basic characteristics like gender and possible ethnicity. A week later, the results arrived. The hair belonged to a Caucasian female. This narrowed it down, but without more information, it wasn't definitive proof of infidelity. However, combined with the text message and her changed behavior, my suspicions grew stronger. I couldn't keep it in any longer. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, I placed the lab results on the table. Laura, we need to talk. I began, my voice trembling. I found this hair in our bed weeks ago. I had it tested. It doesn't match either of us. She looked at the paper, then at me, confusion and fear flickering across her face. Jake, are you serious? You had a hair tested? I didn't know what else to do. Then I saw that message on your phone. Who is he, Laura? Tears welled up in her eyes. It's not what you think, she whispered. Then explain it to me. I pleaded. She took a deep breath. His name is Mark. We met at the gym. It started as innocent conversations, but it escalated. I'm so sorry, Jake. Hearing her confession was both a relief and a dagger to the heart. At least I wasn't imagining things. But the betrayal cut deep. We decided to attend couples therapy to navigate the wreckage of our relationship. Therapy was grueling. We unearthed issues we'd both ignored for years. Laura expressed feelings of neglect, and I admitted to becoming complacent. We worked through the pain, the anger, and the mistrust. Months later, we stood at a crossroads. The love was there, but so was the hurt. Ultimately, we chose to part ways, realizing that sometimes love isn't enough to mend what's been broken. Looking back, I recognize the importance of communication and vigilance in a relationship. It's easy to become comfortable and overlook the small signs. Trust is fragile, and once shattered, it's challenging to rebuild. To anyone reading this, cherish your relationships. Pay attention to the details, and never underestimate the power of open, honest dialogue. It's better to address concerns head-on than to let them fester into something irreparable. Laura didn't move out right away. We agreed to try therapy, and for a while, I thought maybe we could salvage something. I still slept in the same house as her, sometimes the same bed, but the air was different. It was heavy, cold. Even when she'd sit beside me on the couch, I felt like I was alone. One night, after another awkward dinner, I caught her smiling at her phone. Not a casual smile, the kind where your cheeks lift and your eyes warm up. I hadn't seen that face in months. She used to smile like that when I brought home surprise coffee or when we watched stupid cooking shows together. She looked up and must have seen something in my face because her smile dropped. She put the phone down quickly. It's just a friend from work, she said before I even asked. I nodded. I didn't believe her. But what was I supposed to do? Ask her to prove it? Go through her messages? She'd already admitted to cheating. Was I waiting for a second round? That night, I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs and poured myself a drink. Two, actually. And around midnight, I did something I promised myself I wouldn't do. I logged into our phone bill account. I don't know what I expected to find, but there it was. One number. Over 200 text messages in the past month. Late night calls. Afternoon texts. Always around the same time she said she was at the gym or running errands. The number wasn't saved on my phone, so I did what any completely wrecked husband would do. I called it. It rang once, twice, then a voice answered. Hello. It was a man's voice. Calm, confident, like he wasn't answering a call from a husband at midnight. I didn't say anything right away. I just listened. Hello, he repeated. Still nothing from me. Then he said something that made my stomach flip inside out. Laura? That you? I hung up. The next day I printed out the call logs. Every single text. Every single time she told me she was working late or needed some air. It was all there. I didn't yell when I gave her the papers. I didn't even look at her. Just left them on the kitchen counter with a sticky note that said, "Who's he?" She didn't come home that night. The next morning, I found her suitcase gone and a note on the counter. I need time to think. I'm staying at a hotel. Please don't call me. No name. No apology. I spent the next 3 days alone. Not just physically. Emotionally. My phone stayed silent. No calls from her. No texts. No explanations. Just silence. Then on the fourth night, I got a message from an unknown number. A picture. It was Laura, sitting on the edge of a hotel bed, smiling. Next to her was the same man whose voice I heard. He had his arm around her, both of them looking right into the camera. And the message under it said, "I guess now you know." I stared at the photo for maybe 10 minutes. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt empty. But then something weird happened. I noticed something in the background of the photo. A small framed photo on the nightstand. It was our wedding photo. That same one we had printed and framed back when we were happy. That wasn't a hotel. That was our guest room. In our house. She had brought him here. Into our home. While I was at work. While I was living under the same roof. She didn't just cheat. She turned our home into her playground. I walked into that room 100 times and never suspected. I didn't sleep that night. I started noticing little things I'd overlooked. A bottle of cologne in the bathroom that wasn't mine. A shirt in the laundry that I'd assumed was hers, but wasn't. A wine glass in the sink some mornings when I only ever drink beer. I was living in a house where another man had walked freely, probably laughed, maybe even worn my robe. This wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. And I still don't know the full story. But I was about to find out. The next morning I walked into the guest room and looked at everything like I was seeing it for the first time. The photo frame was still there on the nightstand. Our wedding day, smiles wide, hands locked. I lifted it up and turned it over. Behind the frame was a folded note. Not one of mine. It said, "Jake has no idea. I left early. Door still open for tomorrow?" Winking face, L. I just stood there holding the note. I read it 3 times. The worst part wasn't even the cheating anymore. It was the disrespect. The boldness. The way she treated this like some sort of joke. In my house. I didn't know who this guy was. But clearly, he knew everything. And clearly, she had no intention of stopping. So I called a locksmith that afternoon. Changed every single lock. Then I packed up every single thing that belonged to her into boxes. Clothes, shoes, bathroom products, everything. And left them on the front porch. I didn't tell her. I didn't text. I didn't leave a note. I just waited. She showed up around 9 p.m. I was sitting in the living room when I heard the sound of her key trying to turn in the new lock. Then I heard her trying again. Then knocking. I opened the door but didn't say anything. "What the hell is this?" she snapped, motioning to the boxes. "You don't live here anymore," I said. Calm. Direct. "Not with him. Not after this." She looked stunned. Like it was just now hitting her that I wasn't playing along anymore. "You're overreacting, Jake," she said. I laughed. Actually laughed. "I'm overreacting to you bringing another man into our bed? Into our house? Leaving me notes like I'm the idiot? Really?" Then came the shift. Her voice dropped. She wasn't defensive anymore. "I'm pregnant," she said. Everything stopped. The air left the room. "Come again." She looked away. "I found out last week. I didn't know how to tell you." My mind was racing. "Is it mine?" I asked. I didn't even care how cold that sounded. "I don't know," she said quietly. That was it. That was the nail in the coffin. Not just the betrayal, not just the lies, but the maybe. She couldn't even tell me if the baby was mine or his. I stepped back and shut the door in her face. But the next morning, there was a police car parked outside our house. Apparently, she told them I had locked her out of her legal residence and disposed of her personal property. I explained the whole situation calmly to the officer, showed him the message thread, the call logs, even the note I found behind the photo. He didn't say much, just nodded, and told me she'd have to take it up in court. So now there's a court date. And now there's a maybe baby involved. But here's where the twist really hits. That same afternoon, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listen. "Hey Jake. This is Alex. I'm Mark's husband. I think we should talk." Mark's husband. Turns out this Mark guy wasn't just cheating with my wife. He was cheating on his own partner. Alex and I met at a cafe the next day. The look on his face was the same as mine. Tired. Hollow. Pissed off. We swapped stories. Timelines. Confirmed suspicions. Turns out Laura wasn't Mark's only affair either. There were others. He had a whole trail of destruction across half the city. I want to confront them, Alex said. Me too, I told him. So now, we're planning something. I don't know what exactly, but something. And when we do, they won't see it coming. Alex and I spent the next week putting things together, text logs, photos, notes, timestamps, and witness accounts. It wasn't about revenge, not really. It was about truth. About ripping the mask off two people who had wrecked lives and acted like they were owed something. We found out they were meeting at a lounge bar near downtown Portland every Thursday night. It was one of those quiet upscale places. Low lights, expensive cocktails, fake privacy. We decided that would be the stage. The night of the confrontation, I wore the suit I hadn't touched since our anniversary dinner 2 years ago. I didn't feel like me in it anymore. It felt like who I used to be before all of this. Alex picked me up around 7:30. We parked a block away. The bar was already glowing through the big front windows. At 8:07 p.m., Laura walked in. Mark was already there, waiting in a booth like this was date night. We waited. At 8:15, we walked in. Heads turned. It's hard not to notice two men walking directly to the back booth without ordering a thing. Laura spotted us first. She went pale. Mark just looked confused, like he didn't recognize us. Don't do this here, she whispered when I stood beside her. She tried to stand up, but I raised my voice enough for everyone in the surrounding tables to hear. Oh, I think this is the perfect place. You want to lie in the dark? Then let's turn on the lights. Alex pulled out his phone and started reading. Mark Thompson, age 41. Married. Husband of 12 years. Lives in North Portland. Owns a landscaping business. Been cheating with my husband for 6 months. And with this man's wife for 3. Mark's face crumpled. Alex, shut your mouth, Alex snapped. You told me you were going through a separation. That you and I needed space. You lied to my face while sleeping with his wife. Laura stood up then, voice cracking, trying to salvage something. Jake, we need to talk about this alone. Oh, now you want privacy? After bringing him into our house. After getting pregnant and not even knowing whose child it is. People were staring now. The waitress stopped mid-order a few tables down. Even the bartender leaned in. Mark stood up next, finally trying to take control. We should all calm down. This isn't the place. But then a voice from the back of the bar said, actually, I think it's exactly the place. It was a woman. Tall, mid-40s, in a navy suit. She walked up to the booth. My name's Rebecca. I'm Laura's boss. Laura gasped. Guess who else she's been spending late nights with? Rebecca said, raising an eyebrow. Thought you should know, boys. Laura looked like she was about to collapse. Mark looked like he wanted to disappear. I looked at Alex, and he looked at me, and I swear we both shared the same thought. What the hell? Tension peaked, boiling right there in that bar. Laura turned and slapped Mark across the face. You said it was just me. Rebecca laughed. Sweetheart, it never is. Mark stormed out. Laura followed him, crying. Rebecca gave me a small nod before walking away like she had just dropped a mic in the middle of a chess match. Alex and I sat down. We ordered drinks. We didn't talk much. Just drank and stared at the doorway they left through. The next day, I got an email from Laura. Long, tearful. Full of explanations, excuses, and confusion. She didn't know what she wanted. She didn't know if she was sorry. She just knew she had broken something too badly to fix. I didn't reply. Later that week, her parents showed up at my door. Her dad apologized. Her mom cried. They said she was a mess, that she didn't even recognize herself anymore. They offered to pay for therapy for a paternity test for whatever I needed. I told them I appreciated it. But I didn't need anything from Laura anymore. The paternity test came back a month later. The baby wasn't mine. Laura moved out of the city. No goodbye. Mark divorced Alex. Alex and I kept in touch for a bit. Not as friends, exactly. Just two men who understood each other in a way no one else could. Then slowly, we stopped calling. A year passed. I stayed in the house. Repainted the guest room. Burned the sheets. I went back to therapy, not for the marriage, but for myself. I learned how quiet betrayal can be. How it doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just leaves a hair on your pillow and waits for you to question your own sanity. Do I still think about her? Yeah. Do I still wonder how it got so bad without me seeing it? Absolutely. But I also know this. I was loyal. I was present. I was honest. And that means something. I never got closure from Laura. But I got something better, clarity. I walked away with my dignity, my self-worth, and the knowledge that I had the strength to leave. I don't know what comes next. But whatever it is, I'll be walking into it with my eyes open.